Check them out.
Got it.
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 Testing, testing.
Check them out.
Got it.
What up, though? Dwayne Barnes, MPA, back with another video. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. Add that to the stage. So we had some technical difficulties this morning. StreamYard wanted to act away, but we still was gonna get the thing going today. What up, though? Welcome to AAS477 Black Music Month, or African American Music Month Appreciation Month. You might be wondering, why are we seeing you so soon after the AAS477 post soul class? Usually there's a break in between, where usually there is one. But just so happened the class ended right at the end of April, which left me some time to get into Black History Month, or I keep calling it Black History Month, Black Music Month, or African American Music Celebration Month, or African American Music Appreciation Month. And so I wanted to continue. The last class was really, really good to me and good for me. So I want to continue this forward and stay in the same era, the post-soul era, 1980 to the year 2000, but talk about a chunk of the class that I didn't get a chance to talk about. So if you've been with me in these past few months or over the past year, I've done several AAS 477 classes. And the AAS 477 brand is a brand that is basically an online African American studies course, not Black history, not just history, it's African American studies. So there's usually sociology, there's usually history, business, technology, culture, literature, media, all these things kind of wrapped into one. And we tell the story of Black folks with that. We started way over a year and a half ago now, with AAS 477, Economics of Jim Crow. We went from the year 1865, the end of slavery, all the way to 1954. And we were basically using three philosophies, political, social philosophies, to define that era: W.E.B. Du Bois and his talented 10th perspective, Marcus Garvey and his Back to Africa, or nationalist perspective, and Booker T. Washington and his Do for Self philosophy. The class that followed that was a civil rights class. I called it Power and Protest, where we looked at the civil rights movement from 1954 all the way until 1968 with the murder of Dr. King and the Poor People's Campaign. From there, we did AAS 477, the Black Power class, where we went from 1968 all the way to 1980. And then this last class we just finished was Post Soul, 1980 to the year 2000, looking at the war on drugs, the birth and explosion of hip hop, and Black folks during that time. Had such a great time with that class, such a great opportunity to really center music. In the 70s class, the Black Power class, we got a chance to center funk and Blaxploitation music. But in the 80s and 90s class, I really centered on hip hop. That was a really big part of the class, and I got so many good reviews about it. It kind of led through some of the other things that was going on in the 80s and 90s. A big part of the 80s and 90s for me, especially the 80s, the late 80s and early 90s, was New Jack Swing. And I didn't get a chance to talk about Teddy Riley or Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis or L.A. Reid and Babyface or Andre Harrell and Uptown Records, or none of those R&B entities that really, merged hip hop along with R&B and made this genre of R&B active and fluent, and, killed the R&B charts, which was the focus of Black Music Month. But then also crossed over to the pop side. So I wanted to say, I said, okay, well, I'm not done with the 80s and 90s just yet. I want to take Black Music Month and I want to appreciate the New Jack Swing era. So that's what this class is. We're going to talk this week more about Black Music Month, its origins, the history of Black music, and we're going to get started in our conversation. Wait, I ain't even got my thing up. Here we go. Conversations around that. And then, through our course. So Black Music Month is in the month of June. And so there'll be 4 courses or 4 sessions. So this is, let me chill for a minute. So this class is this session is a bit different than my typical AAS 477 classes. The AAS 477 brand, again, is about independent study. It's about the social, political, technological, sociological kind of perspective on Black history, looking at business, looking at culture, looking at all those things. For Black Music Month, and this is the second time I've done Black Music Month. Last year we did it, me and a buddy of mine, and we looked at the history of Black music through a couple of different lenses. And this time I wanted to just kind of appreciate the music. So here, instead of the hard kicking, breaking sociological analysis, we're just going to appreciate the music. We're going to look at videos. We're going to look at magazines. We're going to look at album covers and live performances as much as we can. Because, you know, if you play too much of copywritten material, you get a flag. And so we just want to appreciate it. This is more of a music appreciation class. We're going to still tell stories, still provide some insights, but it's just about enjoying the music, playing some instrumentals, playing some parts of music just to kind of differentiate the different parts, with the ultimate goal of you as the listener and the student to provide a New Jack Swing playlist at the end of the class. And I'm gonna provide one as well. So we're gonna navigate this music. But before we get started, I want to take a moment to just honor Black Music Month. And so I got a video I want to play to kind of to put into context how we even got to the point to where we were celebrating Black Music Month. So let me take this down. I'm gonna share my screen and we'll watch a quick video about Black Music Month. You know we need it, soul power. We got to have it, soul power. Share screen. Here we go. Oh, here we go.
Kenny Gamble is actually, I call him the father of Black Music Month because he came to Nashville and saw what the Country Music Association was doing.
Start that over.
Was actually, I call him the father of Black Music Month because he came to Nashville and saw what the Country Music Association was doing with the Hall of Fame and the Grand Ole Opry, and was inspired by the unity amongst country artists. And after that visit, he came back to Philadelphia and, along with a few other people, decided to start the Black Music Association to kind of mirror what the CMAs were doing. And I was involved on the local level in the local Philadelphia chapter. Chapters were created around the country. And because Gamble and I have worked together on so many projects, I worked very actively to get June Black Music Month recognized in Congress and by President Bill Clinton. So I was hosting a music conference in DC, and I wrote President Clinton asking would he host a reception at the White House, much like President Jimmy Carter had done in the late 70s for the BMA, for the Black Music Association. And Clinton's people said, oh, we see where Carter had done this reception, but he did not sign the presidential proclamation. So why don't you go get some legislation and then come back to the White House? Oh, okay. I was shocked to hear that when I called Gamble and told him. He was surprised as well. But I spent the next few years of my life lobbying senators, congressmen, writing an editorial in Billboard, just what I call a high level of music activism, where I was in people's faces constantly saying, Black music is more than feel good. It's more than snapping your finger, bobbing your head, dancing. It is a multi-billion-dollar industry. And we don't tend to think of it that way, but that's what it is. It's one of America's greatest exports around the world. And so I was successful with the assistance of Congressman Shaka Fatah of Pennsylvania, Philadelphia. Took a minute, but we got the legislation passed that said June is Black Music Month. And then I was invited to the White House for a private meeting with President Bill Clinton, and that was pretty heady. And this all was on the strength of me writing a very passionate letter about my belief in Black music. And I say Black music equals American music. So I'm identifying it by the group of people who have created it, but it is indigenous to the United States of America. So it is one of America's greatest creations that has come from the wellspring of the Black experience. And it's music for the world, for everybody, but it was created by Black people. Gospel, blues, jazz, you name it, rock music. You know, last year we honored Little Richard. He's one of the architects of rock music, period. You know, so Mick Jagger knows it. So does Eric Clapton. Many of the British rockers, they cited Muddy Waters and others as their influences. And so that body of music, all genres, all variations of it, I love and I advocate for that. And so after I got the legislation passed and met with President Clinton several times in the Oval Office, I felt like we were on our way. And somewhere around the world, there has been some recognition or celebration of June Black Music Month. So I call Kenny Gamble the father of Black Music Month. Others have called me the mother. I take it. I have nurtured this baby. I have breastfed. I've made food from scratch. I have raised this child and will continue to do until I have no breath in me.
Yo, shout out to the sister Dinah Washington. I mean Washington. For wait, let me stop my share. I'm sorry. For seeing this through. So, you know, in essence, I think I couldn't have said it better than that. That's why I didn't. Black Music Month, you know, 1979, President Nixon, the President Carter, you know, in voice said, okay, this is Black Music Month, and he had a concert there, but he didn't put the official stuff down. So in essence, it took from 79 to the year 2000 to kind of get this thing official on the books. And then you know, in 2009, President Obama renamed it African American Music Appreciation Month, and then Biden made it official in 2021. So that was kind of the arc of the Black Music Month. And one of the things I did want to point out is, you know, the Black Music, let me see, let me get this up here. The Black Music Association was born, and that was through lobbying that we were able to get that done. So all the industry heavy hitters came together at the time and said, look, we better together, we moving this thing forward. And while we do have, you know, differing interests around our business, what we're doing together collectively is around Black music needs to be a force together. So I thought that was a really good kind of intro into how and why we celebrate Black history. I keep saying Black History, Black Music Month. And so I think that's very important. So every June, when we get to the month of June, you got to find a way to celebrate. So I always say stuff like this: just listen to your favorite music, listen to some new music. You know, as you get older, you don't like listening to these kids' music, but you listen to some of these kids' music. Listen to some old music. One thing that I've been doing is I've been going back and listening to old music. And since I didn't really listen to all them albums, listening to some of that old stuff has been like new stuff, because I ain't heard none of that stuff before outside of the hits. So, you know, go to a festival, read a book, watch a documentary, go to a local music gathering where they playing some music, anything in the month of June to enjoy the appreciation for Black music. And if you're like me and you do it all the time, well, just now you're doing with an extra emphasis. So that's kind of the impetus behind Black Music Month. And again, this is the music appreciation class, so it's not gonna be as heavy as it typically is. I usually would have done a full rundown of the who's, what's, where, where's, and why's, then played the video. But for Music Appreciation Month, we want to lean more on the media and lean more on the fun side of the class. So we're going to continue to do that. And so, you know, well, Black Music Month. And so now we want to get into a quick history of Black music. And when I talk about Black music, like the sister said there, Miss Williams, we're talking about music made here on the continent of America. Spirituals, gospel, blues, jazz, and all the subgenres in jazz, rhythm and blues, and all the subgenres of rhythm and blues, soul, funk, disco, electric, Motown, hip hop, trap, everything we got today. So I want to play a quick video to kind of talk about the emphasis and the importance of Black music over the years. Two of them. So this is a quick one. I like this one because it gives kind of a whole rundown of Black music in 1 minute. So I kind of like this vibe here. So I'm going to play this here. Give me just a second. I'm going to share my screen. And then we're going to show this video. They call this one 400 Years of Black Music in 1 minute. I love the concept here. Let me start it over.
I'll be so glad when
repossess my car. Don't push.
house music all night long.
I see no changes. Wake up in the morning and I
know you better watch out.
So I got a kick out of that because it gave you in a nutshell the many different genres, artists, the times by which, you know, Black music permeated society. And one thing I did want to add, you know, one thing that they this class is never about they, or this session is never about a they. It was a little more they in some of these other ones, but our music has always been our voice. Our music has always been our outlet. And it was one outlet that was always able to, within constraints, able to be used and leveraged. So, you know, Black music has such a long legacy and history because it was one art form that we were always tried and true in producing. I also want to shout out the Lions, baby. I saw that. I ain't want to say that. I got another video though here that takes us a little bit deeper, still short, in the evolution of Black music with a little more context. So I want to share that one as well. Yeah, this is the one right here. All right. Oh no, this is part 2. Here it is. All right, I'm gonna stop share and I'm gonna pull that one here. So usually I would be waxing poetic during this time, going on and on and on, you know, dropping the knowledge. But this is a music appreciation class, so we're gonna enjoy more of the media side of the class this time. All right, let's roll.
Creating something for nothing is in Black America's DNA. As enslaved African families were torn apart, their musical traditions continued to cultivate all genres of American music. Slave Code of South Carolina, Article 36, written in 1740 reads, "It is absolutely necessary to the safety of this province that all due care be taken to restrain Negroes from using or keeping of drums." In the 1700s, drums were banned in plantations and a new form of resistance was created. That resistance was creating new instruments and singing. Negro spirituals developed into what we know as rag. By 1899, ragtime rose to national popularity through composer and pianist Scott Joplin's Maple Leaf Rag. That same year, the Black national anthem, Lift Every Voice and Sing, was completed by brothers James and John Johnson. At the turn of the century, Blackness was on the move with the migration of African Americans from the South to Midwest and North. This time, the sound transformed to blues. There is no American music culture without Black America. As we step into July, remember who we are.
I really love that Cliff Notes version of Black music from the late 1800s all the way into the early mid 1900s, because it kind of gives a nice little summary where you can go and dig deeper in any of those genres. So I want to look at part 2 of that as well. Let's see, is it this one, part 2? Yep. So I'm gonna share my screen and we'll watch part 2 here. That blues was riffing though, wasn't it? All right, here we go.
Creating something for nothing is in Black America's DNA. As enslaved African families...
Oh, that's the same one. Sorry about that. Part 2 we'll find here. There we go. Oh, sorry, not that one. Where is the... Oh, here it is. Okay, sorry about that, guys. Here we go. See, this is more tab heavy than what I'm used to, so. All right, here we go.
Originating in the Mississippi Delta, blues was used to describe the plight of African Americans. Key players of the genre included Bunk Johnson, B.B. King, John Hurt, Skip James, Muddy Waters, and Dizzy Gillespie. The Roaring Twenties, known for dancing, drinking, and promiscuity, pushed an underground nightclub scene that helped jazz music travel. During the Prohibition era, jazz grew alongside blues in New Orleans, becoming really popular in Chicago and New York, Harlem in particular. It produced stars like Louis Armstrong, King Oliver, Duke Ellington, and John Coltrane. Jazz and blues remained prevalent throughout the 30s and the 40s. Sometime during the 1940s, blues and country rock would blend together to birth rock and roll. This movement was pioneered by artists like Ray Charles, Big Mama Thornton, and Fats Domino, who persevered despite record labels and radio stations who were reluctant to play black artists. All of these music genres made way for funk and the reign of Motown records in the late 60s. Considered to have evolved through jazz improvisation, funk gave our music a new spectrum, mixing low and high note rhythms. The greats included James Brown, Sly and Family Stone, Kool and Gang, Parliament Funkadelic, Stevie Wonder, and many more. Stay tuned to Revolt Black News.
Again, these are just bite-sized versions of the contributions and the impact of Black music over the years. But I think these opportunities are really good just to get you started, to get you going down the road. I would have had a thesis on every one of them eras and we would still be in the blues. But I just want to enjoy it, a little bit more. And so as we talk about how we got to where we got to, especially around Black music, I wanted to start our journey in the early 80s. And so the last class was specifically about hip hop and its birth. But through hip hop and its birth, we understood now that it was born from R&B music. It was born through funk music. So, it was hard to detach the two. And even as it grew, you sampled it, you used beats from it, you did all that. So I want to start our conversation around 1980. So our conversation in 1980 between 1985, that was the era of R&B that was very, very interesting. Disco was gone. Funk was formed into these 80s synthesizer bands. I can think about people like Zapp, with hits like More Bounce to the Ounce. And I'm gonna be very high level with this because I don't want to get stopped here. But let me play Zapp with More Bounce, and I'll only be able to play a small snippet. But I do want to share. I know we know that song, but I want to share that because this was kind of some of the groundwork that was laid for what we would know as New Jack Swing later to come. So I'm gonna share my screen here. And I'm gonna play just a couple seconds of Zapp, More Bounce to the Ounce. So when you hear stuff like that, you're starting to hear the beat change, you're starting to hear rhythms going through, and at the same time hip hop is still rolling through that time. It's 1980, so still that funk music. You taking DJs are taking break beats and looping them. Drum machines are just coming into the game, and you got acts like Zapp that's really laying the foundation. So 1980 to 84 was probably about his height before we brought him back in the late 80s and the 90s with California and all them other things. So that music really started to lay the groundwork for what New Jack Swing would come to be, because during that time you had artists like Kool and the Gang, Starpoint, Change, keeping that funk vibe alive. You had Luther Vandross, Anita Baker, Stevie Wonder hitting you with that traditional kind of R&B. So if you think about where R&B was going, it was real adult. It was that Quiet Storm kind of vibe. So those who liked R&B or was into it, you had a different kind of music that you were getting. So all of this started to lay some of the foundation for what what New Jack Swing would be and how R&B music needed an identity. Now you also had within that same time that electro funk transition, where replacing, you had horns being replaced in the rhythm sections being replaced by these drum machines. And so you look at Michael Jackson Thriller, and we all seen the movie, we all know Michael, we love you. But you're starting to change some of these sounds. Think about a track like "Wanna Be Starting Something," and I'll only play a couple seconds of this because I know they're gonna flag that for real. See, this is something I would have loved to do in person. We would have been able to play a little more. But I'm gonna leave it alone here. All right, I'm about to get this up here just a little bit. Start to listen to where these beats are starting to go. So that zap, boom, 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 boom. That's not Stevie that you're used to hearing. That ain't that. It's something else. And then you start to hear what Quincy and them were cooking up with this, and I'll only play a couple of moments because we already know. So even with the beat, how that beat start to come in, you start to hear how the old school hip hop cats would have been going on that. What would Melly Mel would have said on that? What would he have gotten on that and said? What would Curtis Blow would have said? After the breaks was over. So you start to hear these more rhythms in R&B, these things starting to change a little bit. You got the time coming in the game of the Prince Protege sound, that Minneapolis sound, that rock influence, kind of funk influence, bringing a new kind of vibe. So even when you think about records being sampled, gotta love Thriller, right? So when you think about records being sampled, you're hearing these totally different kind of sounds happening. Even thinking about records like 777 93 11 or anything that Get It Up, the stuff that the time was doing, it was really bringing this new sound through. And then you have bands like Cameo and Midnight Star that use this computerized funk kind of style. So one of my favorite Cameo records, let me see, when was this one released? About 1985. I'm gonna play a little bit of the Cameo Single Life. You hear how that beat is starting to groove a little bit? How that bass is kind of bringing you in? Yeah, and I can't play too much because of copyright, but that's the kind of vibe that we're going for. So it's like, man, these sounds are really starting to come together, laying the foundation. And Teddy Riley, and we'll get to him here in a moment. He's a kid during this time, or a young man during this time. So he's starting to bring his musical style to the forefront. So this kind of takes us to Teddy Riley, the protege. So when I talk about Teddy Riley, right here, not Jimmy, Teddy. One of my favorite producers and musicians of all time, who not many producers created their own genre that they were known for, and many bands and many groups that used it. But as we begin with Teddy Riley, started his trek in Harlem, born and raised in Harlem in the 70s. Child prodigy at the age of 5, started playing instruments at his family church. His uncle owned a Harlem nightclub, the Rooftop, which Teddy would spend a lot of his time. And by the age of 15, he began working with artists like Dougie Fresh. And so one of the first songs one of the big songs, and if this was the number class we would have been through, his childhood and where he did and all those, but this is just the music appreciation. So we're gonna start with one of his early hits. One of the early hits was The Show. And we all know The Show, but I'm gonna play a little snippet of it here by Dougie Fresh and Slick Rick. And I know I can't play much of it. We'll start to hear some of the New Jack Swing elements.
Excuse me, Dougie friend.
Yes.
Have you ever seen a show with fellas on the mic with 1 minute
Keep this
rhymes?
beat in your mind.
Not right, they fight. They never right. That's not polite. Am I lying?
No, you're quite right.
Well, tonight on the Stereo mic, you're about to hear. We swear
Hey.
the best star rappers of the year. So cheerio,
Yell,
scream bravo.
bravo. Also, if you didn't know, this is called the show.
So I'm gonna stop it there. But you know, Teddy Riley, musician, so he was a keyboard player. So he was bringing this church style, this hip hop style, this R&B style all together, and these hits started to come. One of the next hits in line was the show was a hit in hip hop circles. He worked with Kumo D, and he worked with him on a couple of Kumo D's biggest hits, but a song called "Go See a Doctor." And you'll start to really see the elements of New Jack Swing in this song. I'm gonna play it here, or at least a piece of it. You'll really start to hear some of the core elements that he started to use. So remember, New Jack Swing is bringing R&B and rap together. So you're using rap beats and swing on the R&B tip. So I'm about to play this one here. This is "Go See a Doctor" by Kumo D, 1986, I believe. So start to listen to these elements, and you're going to hear it when we get to the other one.
But 3 days later, go see the doctor.
Hear that?
I was.
All right, we're going to stop it there for this. I don't want to get no copyright infringement on none of this music. I do not own this music. This is for entertainment and educational purposes only. So if y'all are trying to flag this, don't do it. Don't believe the hype. So we're starting to see that the music is really starting to move forward. So in 1987, Riley Aaron Hall, who he meets in New Jersey, and Terry Gatlin, they formed the group Guy. Prior to this, Teddy was in a group called Kids at Work. And they was working with Gatlin, and Gatlin said, well, you know, I'll Aaron wanted Gatlin in the group. So they got together, and they started to put this group together. And Andre Harrell, who we'll talk about a lot later, who started as an intern at Def Jam and became the vice president in a very short time, had a label and signed them to that label, Guy. And then you still had, so at Uptown Records, which Puffy would eventually be an intern with and become an executive there, leave and start Bad Boy. And we'll talk about that at the end of the class. Heavy D, you had Al B. Shore, you had Father MC, you had Jodeci, you had all these acts, and you had Guy. And so you had Teddy's groove over all of these acts. So you really starting to build. And so as you start to move this thing forward, one of Teddy's first hit records in the Black community and otherwise was his contributions to Night and Day by Al B. Shore. So I'll play a little bit of that just so we can get the vibe a little bit. And I'll play a little bit of the video. I know you know how we like to see the videos. But I'm only gonna play a snippet, and I'm only want to play enough to get the point across on how New Jack Swing, how his sound was really starting to revolutionize R&B music. And this was a hit record. So let's jump into Night and Day real quick. Let me give it this just due right there. But you know, so now we're starting to see that this drums, this swing, this bass line is coming through, and it's still R&B. Don't get it twisted. This is R&B music. This ain't hip hop yet. They merged, but this is still when it was in the hip hop vein. So it's like, okay, all right, we there. And then this really starts to move forward in 1987 with, maybe you heard of this cat, Keith Sweat, with a couple records, one Make It Last Forever and the other one I Want Her. I'ma play I Want Her because we did the slower version with Night and Day. But we all know Make It Last Forever. Boom, boom, ah, boom, ba boom, ba ba do ba do ba boom ba. More R&B. Now let's go to I Want Her, and I Want Her is when you really start to see this New Jack Swing sound really start to take off. And I won't play the video. I'll just play the song. This is the sound that changed the game. So it's growing. And of course, this isn't happening in a vacuum. And next week we'll talk about how other producers were hearing this music and saying, okay, let me incorporate some of that. So they take his style and turn it into something else. So I'm gonna jump in here and play this. And then this, I remember this as a kid and Make It Last Forever and Night and Day. So I'm gonna jump in and listen to the rhythm, the beat. It's fire.
Ooh.
Young folk music. And I'll stop it there. But that beat is like, whoa, what is this? What is this? And so the industry is starting to take notice. Every artist is starting to take notice. And it's Harlem. He from Harlem. So, he got that Harlem swag to it. He got that Harlem look to it. You can feel it. And he's using these drum machines, quantizing the drums in a way that nobody has done before, bringing that bass line together in a way that people hadn't done before. So it's really starting to change the game. And then moving on from there, 1987, you get hit with the grenade that changed music, R&B music, forever at that moment. And I'm going to play this beat. I'm gonna play the music. I'm gonna play the video. I ain't even just gonna play the song. And this is what set up to change R&B music over those next 5 years in a way that, many people weren't expecting.
Oh yeah, baby.
Dance moves, deep, vibes.
Feeling like the way you groove. Hey, feeling like the way you groove. Oh, baby, oh, tonight. Oh, baby, oh, tonight.
Yeah, I'm gonna stop it there. Even though I play that song so often at home, my kids probably heard it like, that's my song right there. But now you really starting to see New Jack. And at this time, it was Teddy's sound. So as a group, so it's a lot of things. Teddy is the producer, one thing. But as a group, this is their sound. This is their sound. And it's changing music. The album went platinum. It was a hit record. A couple records on there. So now you got the sound official. And now we talked about, like we did the hip hop class. Once you get a sound that works and once it's selling, now everybody else want to get a piece of it. So Teddy Riley is thinking a couple ways. I'm a producer and I'm a member of a group. So as a member of the group, I'm gonna make sure we got the fire. But as a producer, I want to ensure, and his management is ensuring that sound moves and it changes as well. What's another good one that I would play from this era of Guy? This is the one right here. This is another good one here. I'm gonna play a couple more. And this is one of my, even growing up, this is one of my favorite ones. So I'm about to share this one. And this is also helped reestablish or establish who this brother was and what this sound was that they were doing. You're gonna hear it from the first word that you hear.
Jam.
If you was a kid in that time, you knew this song.
Jam.
Everybody, your cousins loved it.
Jam.
Aunties loved it.
Teddy, jam for me, yeah.
One more, Aaron, and then I'm gonna cut it off. We're gonna stop it there. So a part of this sound was the producer who made the beat, but it was also the jam, right? It was who was singing it. That voice, Keith Sweat has an amazing voice. Don't get it twisted. I'll Be Sure had a great voice. Don't get it twisted. But hearing Aaron Hall sing over that, it was like, whoa, this brother killing it. These young brothers was handsome. They was group to be something, but the group guy in and of itself is starting to lead the charge in R&B. It's young, it's fresh. So you can go from playing I Ain't No Joke, I Used to Let the Rhyme Smoke, to playing this in the same club. These music can start to coexist with hip-hop. When at a time you play Michael Jackson where you play Michael Jackson. You play Zap where you play Zap. Here you can do a little bit of both. So it's really starting to build. And then one more from this era of Guy, because they didn't have a long run because money, what happens to groups, this and that was, so these I'm playing hits. This one was a hit as well. A record called My Fantasy by Guy. It was on the soundtrack of Do the Right Thing. And it was another hit record for Teddy and for the sound. And other things are coming. Don't get it twisted. And we'll be done here soon in a couple more. But I want to play a couple more records just as we lay the foundation for Teddy Riley and his contributions to his genre of music. So we'll play a little bit of this one. Now he getting on the mic. I seen her face before. Somebody walks out of my door. It's just a fantasy. It's in the magazine. I seen her face before. Somebody walks out of my door. It's just a fantasy. Image in the magazine. I gotta stop it there. I want to play the whole thing. And I think I wanna get with you. All these songs, dude, that was just bangers. And so now you got platinum records. This was a #1 on the R&B charts, on a soundtrack, outside of Fight the Power, which was the main lead single off the soundtrack. This was one, to kind of help them blow too. So now you got Guy establishing themselves, one just as an act, that's an R&B act. We're here, and this is our time. Late 80s, 1987, we here, and this is our thing. And then you start to see the sound start to seep through. So remember we talked about he worked with Teddy, worked with Kool Moe Dee. Well, he gave Kool Moe Dee a couple of hit records. One was a response to LL Cool J, because remember LL Cool J and Kool Moe Dee was in beef. And then the other one was one of my favorite records growing up. So I'll play a little bit of both. I want to play, let's see. How You Like Me Now by Kool Moe Dee. And this was a hit record, a response to LL and a vibing. You're gonna hear the same New Jack Swing bounce on the record. So we're gonna play it, and we'll play a couple moments of it.
How you like me now?
The dancing, the beat. Shout out to Kool Moe Dee, a pioneer, even before the 80s, the late 80s.
I throw my tape on, then I watch you 3 seconds later. I got you shaking your head, dancing instead of sitting. The rhyme.
I'm gonna stop it there. We heard that beat, but even before, well, I'll play the next one and then I'll move it forward. This is my favorite one growing up. And you notice the fashion, the style, the dancing. You had to have that when you played this kind of music, and that was kind of entertaining he was. So this was one of my favorite ones growing up. I don't know if I'm still sharing my screen or not. Here we go. And then I'll provide these songs in a playlist for this. So if you want to go back and enjoy any New Jack Swing, especially the early stuff, I got you, and I have a couple more on here too. These were hit records for him. Platinum records. All Harlem. New Jack Swing is going from R&B, going over to rap. We're bringing these worlds together.
I used to live downtown, 129th Street, Convent. Everything's upbeat, parties, ball in the park, nothing but girls after dark. We chill.
So something like that. You hear that? Boom, boom, bum, boom, ba-doom, 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 ba-boom, boom, ba-doom, ba-do-do-do-do-do, do-do-do, ba-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do. So the sound is really starting to take off. It's really starting to take off, even to the point where he do a record with Boy George. Boy George, a top 5, top 10 record with Boy George. I'm not gonna play that one. But things change on this next record. So here we are, 1989, 88, 89. You know, there's a big boy, I don't call it a boy band, a big R&B group called New Edition. They mess around and kick a brother out the group. Brother whose name was Bobby Brown. Now, this brother get a chance to work with any up and coming. He was, you know, any producer he wanted to. So he was slated to work with Babyface and L.A. Reid, which we'll talk about next week. He'll have a chance to work with Teddy Riley. Him and Teddy Riley get in the studio and they cook this up. And this takes New Jack Swing from that hip hop R&B to superstardom, because Bobby Brown was a superstardom guy because of this song and other things. I'm gonna see how much they're gonna let me play of this, but we don't need a lot of this one because we know the song. We know the record if we grew up during that time. You give it one tap to the hook and then turn it off. 1, 2, 3.
Everybody's talking all this stuff about me. Now, just let me live. Oh, it should make my own decisions. That's my prerogative.
And I'll stop it there. So this song, Prerogative by Bobby Brown, goes through the roof. 1988. It turns out to be I think it was a top 10 at least. It was number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100, number 1 on the R&B charts. And so now you got Bobby Brown coming out of this, being kicked out of New Edition, to go into superstardom on top of the pop charts. And we'll talk about this next week. His first single from that album was Don't Be Cruel, which was a LA and Babyface record, which was their version of kind of a New Jack Swing that they heard, but it didn't really move as much as they wanted it to. And I'll talk more about that next week. It made it to the top of the R&B charts, and it made it to number 8 on the Billboard charts, on the pop charts, but it wasn't like this one. This was a number 1 smash hit record, and it took Bobby Brown and propelled him to superstardom. And we're not done talking about Bobby. He was one of the biggest voices of New Jack Swing. Let's see what else we got here. Another record that was a big hip hop record was Heavy D. He came back with Heavy D and had another hit record, and he had to dance to go with it too. And I'm gonna play a bit of this one. I'll just play that. Well, I'll see if I play a video too. Let me share my screen. My name is My name was Dwayne at that time, so I can say that. Remember he was on Different World doing that dance with Ryan. Shout out to Heavy D. So I'll stop it there. But yeah, so we're really getting to the point where Teddy Riley, in his production, just in making music, and his work with Guy and everybody else, is starting to go through the roof. There's always two sides of the story. So in this success, one of his managers ended up bleeding his pockets over $2 million out of his royalties, and he's left without that. And at the end of 1989, he is left with all this success, but without the money and without the security he needs to move forward. And so we will end our conversation on this week, because these are only going to be about 45 minutes to an hour. This ain't the full 90-minute class like we do for the AAS477 typical class. It's the music appreciation. So we probably do between 45 minutes and an hour. And we had to lay the foundation for Black Music Month and for Black music. So it took a little longer today. But we're going to stop our conversation there today. And I will provide I missed this one, early hits, Q&A and next steps. And I'll provide a playlist. So those are just a couple of songs from the 1987 to about 1989 playlist. I got a full playlist that I want to share for this class, because what I hope is those who stay with me the entire time, by the end of the class roll around, we'll be in here and you can drop me your playlist and I can see, your version of the music. The songs you like, songs your mama like, songs your auntie like, the songs you remember as a kid, the songs you went back to listen to if you're a little younger than my generation. But to just kind of summarize what we talked about today, we talked about Black Music Month and why we celebrate it, how it came on the books. We talked about the history of Black music, just briefly, the different genres of Black music in this country and why we wanted to celebrate them. We got into the early years of New Jack Swing, specifically highlighting the works, I keep doing this, it's on opposite, of Teddy Riley, his work with Guy, his work with I'll Be Sure, Kool Moe Dee, his work with Heavy D, him and Andre Harrell having Uptown Records and Guy being a part of that, and they'll eventually leave Uptown Records and move forward. And Guy only has one other album together. And then I forget to mention something. I'll mention that next week with Rex and Effects. So next week we'll look at how New Jack Swing's explosion led to Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis and LA and Babyface down in Atlanta to take this sound and alter it and make it their versions, still coming from the architect, don't get it twisted, but how they took it to where Janet Jackson could take it to places that Bobby Brown could take it, and where New Edition and Johnny Gill and the likes could take it. You know what? I forgot about one of the first New Jack Swing hits, and I'm gonna take a second to go back and play this song. I just thought about this. I forgot about this one. So before all those other records, this was a record that got the party started too. I can't believe I forgot about this record. I cannot believe I forgot about this one. And since we having fun, why not just take it a couple more minutes and have a little bit of fun? I cannot believe I forgot about this song. We gotta have this one. Yeah. This is that 1987 window. I'm gonna stop it right there because I don't want the copyright. But yeah, I gotta give love to Johnny Kemp for that one. So we looked at all of these songs that were hit records. I didn't even play like the album cuts, the ones that just kept the era going, the stuff that people's favorites were. These was just the hits. And these were songs that we still play today when we think about the music. So I definitely want to set the table for what next week is going to be. And then in 2 weeks, we talk more about how all of those artists and other producers started to make the sound go, and how New Jack Swing started to find itself on TV, in videos, on in movies, the fashion, the look. And then we'll end our conversation around in week 4 around the transition of New Jack Swing into hip hop soul. You know, when Real Love come out and the G-Funk from the West Coast start, it changes the music and it overpopularized itself. When Michael Jackson took Remember the Time to the top of the charts around the globe, it changed the fortunes for New Jack Swing. But, you know, it's Black Music Month, African American Appreciation Music Month, and I want to enjoy this time with you guys. And I hope you guys are enjoying this. We're having a lot more fun. It's a lot less technical, but it's still fun because we're listening to music, we're enjoying the art form, we're watching the videos, and we're having a chance to have just a fun conversation around music without all the extra political, social aspects that I usually keep in my content. So I'm even trying something new. It was hard not to get a deck ready. I'm like, oh, but I need a deck. I need to explain all this stuff. But I'm saying, no, let's try something new. Let's get with a new vibe and see if we can have a little fun for Black Music Month. So this was week 1. We'll be back next Saturday, 9 o'clock, with week 2, where we talk about Jimmy and Terry, LA and Babyface, and the growth of hip hop, or the growth of New Jack Swing from about 90 to about 92. As we went from 87 to about 89 in this class, and then we'll keep the week 3, we'll kind of look at all of it in a nutshell, and then 4, how it transitioned to hip hop. So I want to thank you for your time, and let's do it again next week. Peace.